I've lived in Maplewood all my life. It's the kind of small town where everyone knows what brand of cereal you buy, who you argued with at the post office, and whether your grass is a quarter of an inch too long. We don't get much excitement here unless you count the annual pie contest or when Mrs. Dobbins' cat climbs onto the water tower again. That's why, when my neighbor Mr. Harold Jenkins suddenly vanished, the entire town buzzed like we'd been cast into some primetime detective show. Now, let me be clear, I am not a detective. I'm a guy who fixes lawnmowers part-time and occasionally wins at bingo. But because I happened to be the last person to see Harold, people started looking at me like I was Sherlock Holmes or worse, a suspect. Harold was unusual. A retired librarian with a fondness for Hawaiian shirts, a habit of watering his lawn at 3 a.m., and an obsession with keeping pigeons out of his backyard. He once installed a scarecrow dressed like Elvis Presley just to ward them off. So when I noticed his curtains closed for 3 days straight and no sound of his record player blasting polka music, I thought something was wrong. At first, I tried to ignore it. Maybe he had gone on vacation. Maybe he was finally abducted by those pigeons he hated so much. But then Mrs. Patterson from across the street cornered me at the grocery store. "You were the last one to see Harold, weren't you?" she hissed, clutching a carton of eggs like evidence. "What did you do with him?" "I didn't do anything with him," I sputtered. "We just shared a bag of chips on Tuesday and argued about crossword puzzles." But soon enough, word spread. Within hours, I had become the town's accidental investigator. People shoved theories at me like raffle tickets. He ran off with a secret girlfriend. Aliens. Has to be aliens. He discovered buried treasure in his backyard and skipped town. I figured I should at least check his house. The front door was locked, but the key was under the same fake rock had been using for 15 years. Inside, the place looked, well, like Harold. Stacks of crossword books, Elvis figurines, 3 half-drunk cups of tea on the counter. No sign of a struggle, but his beloved collection of Hawaiian shirts. All gone. That's when things got weird. First clue, a receipt on his table from the Maplewood diner dated the day after anyone last saw him, which meant had been alive and eating pancakes while everyone thought had vanished. Second clue, a trail of pigeon feathers leading from his backyard to the edge of town. Coincidence? Maybe, but in a small town, coincidence is basically a confession. I decided to follow the trail. Did I have anything better to do? No. I ended up behind the old community center, where I found a suitcase. Inside, more Hawaiian shirts, a box of crackers, and strangest of all, a rubber chicken. I was convinced it uncovered Maplewood's biggest scandal. I strutted around town like a real detective, notebook in hand, interrogating anyone who so much as mentioned Harold's name. Mrs. Dobbins swore she saw him on Wednesday buying sunflower seeds. The mailman admitted he delivered a package of mystery goods to Harold but refused to elaborate. Even the pastor said Harold had confessed something about preparing for the Great Escape. My brain was spinning. Was Harold part of a secret cult? Was he hiding from the government? Was he staging some kind of pigeon-related rebellion? The climax came at the Maplewood Town Hall meeting, where everyone gathered to demand answers. People shouted over each other, theories flew, and someone even suggested appointing me as the official town detective. Just as I was about to faint from the pressure, the back door banged open. In walked Harold, sunburned, wearing a fresh Hawaiian shirt, holding a souvenir snow globe. "Miss me?" he grinned. The room went silent. Then Mrs. Patterson dropped her eggs, and they splattered across the floor like a dramatic exclamation mark. "Where have you been?" I yelled, half relieved, half furious that I'd nearly accused a pastor of pigeon theft. Harold shrugged. "Went to Florida. Last-minute deal. Elvis impersonator convention. Thought I told someone. Turns out he hadn't. Had just scribbled 'Gone South' on a napkin and stuck it under his Elvis scarecrow. Nobody noticed. The suitcase with the crackers and rubber chicken. His emergency snack kit for long car rides. The receipt from the diner. He stopped for pancakes before leaving. The pigeon feathers. From his ongoing war with the birds had been making feather-filled scarecrows. The entire town erupted into laughter. And me? I became known as Detective Don. Even though the only mystery I solved was that Harold can't be trusted to leave proper vacation notes. Harold, for his part, promised never to vanish again without warning us. He also promised to bring me back a snow globe from the next Elvis convention. And that, my friends, is how I accidentally became the laughingstock and part-time detective of Maplewood.